So my partner was reading the newspaper recently, and I guess you're the manliest man he could think of off the top of his head.
It's a good choice.
Because the newspaper said women, are free in their body hair, but men have started shaving their armpits. And he had like an existential crisis because he is very much a man who likes to fit in. Whenever I ask him like why he chose something, he's like, to avoid people commenting on it.
Okay.
It's his like style. So I'll be like, oh,
He's
great jumper.
trying to go along with whatever the status quo is.
Yeah, well, because he was like, if this was my apartment, it would be millennial grey and like, Swiss. That would be the IKEA style where it's like there's literally... He'd be like a really good... when they break into the spy's house and you're like, you never truly lived here. These are people in the pictures from the, from the...
Yeah, it's all staged.
Like, I'm trying to think of like, no, you buy the photo frames with people in it.
It just comes with like, the default picture.
Right, like the couple or the kids or something. That would be his house. Like, so his whole thing is like, oh my God, am I the weirdo at the pool with the underwear? Like, am I going to now be like, oh,
next
that's
summer,
a choice.
Next summer, tops are coming off and he's suddenly like,
the
doing
topic of conversation.
Yeah, last year's trend of like having body hair.
Or not even trend where they're like eyebrows are raised is I think what he wants to... No, he wants... I don't think he cares if he raises people's eyebrows. I think he cares if someone wants to talk to him.
Okay.
So if someone's like, that's a choice, that would really...
Yeah, so he just wants to fit in.
Yeah. So he said, can you ask Ben?
Do I like shave my body hair? Yeah. And I said, do I trim?
Yeah. I think that's generally accepted.
Yeah.
Well, like I don't mind. So I don't want to sound like a jerk because again, like each to their own. I don't really care. And I can't really picture my partner's body hair. But like I would say most women would expect men have hair on their arms, legs, armpits at least. And dick area.
You feel like
pubes.
Yeah, you would be weirded out if they didn't have like.
Well, no, I'm
some
saying
pubes.
I wouldn't, but I don't really care.
Because I've like talked to guys who are like, I say, oh, I've got a date or whatever, and they're like, oh, you better shave your pubes or whatever. I'm like, is that what you're doing? Like,
I would say no.
Yeah, that seems weird to me.
I guess like maybe to get head.
Yeah, it's like that Dave Chappelle joke. He's saying he like waxes his balls
to make it look bigger.
No, he's like, my balls are smooth as eggs because then she'll be like, I would like to suck them.
Yeah, I guess maybe it is like to be polite, like that it's nicer to like give head to.
There's a level though, like you don't want to be completely like a baby smooth.
Well, that's what I was thinking when I was like, I wouldn't want to be rude because I'm like, well, if that's how you're comfortable, like have at it, but it would definitely raise an eyebrow.
Yeah, agreed.
I would probably have a question when we got a little bit in. I wouldn't say it on the... Because you don't want to be mean. It's like, well...
You're like, do you have alopecia?
Yeah.
Of the dick?
I know. Well, no. I just... Again, if it's like, no, I just feel more comfortable and confident that way. I'm like, who am I to shit on someone else? Like, I don't want to yuck someone else's yum.
Yeah,
That's
but you would be like, if you're doing this for me, then you don't have to.
Yeah, I'd be like, I actually prefer... I would just say like, oh, so... not having pubes, that's a choice.
Yeah.
Tell me more. And if they're like, oh, I thought you liked it, I'd be like, I thought you liked it. Be the gift of the Magi.
Like you're growing yours out and he's completely shaving it off. And you're like, oh my God, we've been living in Bizarro.
Yeah. I could grow. I thought you couldn't grow it. I was taking it off for you. Oh my God.
What's up, everybody? This is Ben.
And this is Nobody.
And you're listening to Midnight Crisis, episode 33.
Oh, one of my favourite numbers.
Really? Any reason why?
Looks like they're having sex.
Okay, sure.
Can you see what I mean?
Like, yeah, 1 3 is kind of penetrating the other 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, this kicking off this episode with a theme, I suppose.
Pubes.
Why don't we keep that theme going then?
Well, you said you shave your stomach.
I tried it once.
Yeah, and
it was a complete disaster. And, like, I was seeing a new girl, and I'm like, all right.
New to Earth or to you? Were you like, I gotta frighten her with humans' body hair?
I feel like if she was an alien, I probably would have felt more free.
Oh, you're like, well, she doesn't know.
Yeah, she hasn't figured out what everyone else is doing.
She's just doing this for science. I could really have anything under here.
No, but sadly she was a human being with several years of experience under her belt. So
that's a shame.
I felt the need, much like your boyfriend, to try and fit in. And so I'm like, I feel like there's 2 ways you can go with body hair, right? Especially like chest hair.
You mean like really lean into it?
Yeah, like if I was like super hairy from like chest to belly button, I would be like okay
Well,
with
that's a
that.
look, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm not that guy. I've got like hairy chest, hairy snail trail kind of
Okay.
thing going on.
That's kind of hot.
But then there's like a fire break in between.
That's safe. I'm like, if I accidentally
Set me on
give
fire.
such good head that Ben's pubes get set on fire. Like if I get, I don't know, like a really great wristy, I guess, and like I
You
get
got the
such
friction.
I mean, I don't really know if people are giving wristies anymore. You're the single guy. Is that still a thing, or is that like high school?
Why would that ever go out of fashion? It's like it's a tool in your toolbox. It's like saying, are we still using screwdrivers?
You know, we got electric ones now. Yeah, well, you know, sometimes analog does the job.
Maybe the battery runs out once in a while and you're like, I'm going old school.
Oh, I've said that to myself. Is that what we're talking about? That's so funny. I just didn't know if that was still like a... So that's a regular tool in the tool. I just feel like that's a high school
Why
thing.
throw anything out? I mean, there's high school things like 40-minute make-out sessions.
I feel like those are still good.
I feel like that's excessive.
Really?
I feel
Maybe
like
you're bad at kissing.
I feel like you do the 40-minute make-out session because
This is as good as it gets.
Yeah, that's the pinnacle. You didn't until you realize like, oh, there's
It gets so
more
much better.
beyond
Right.
this.
Yeah, this is base camp. And you're like, I guess we're at the top of Everest. And then the clouds clear and you're like, oh my gosh.
You're like, oh, why are we
We're literally at the
wasting
bottom.
time here this whole
Yeah,
time?
base camp.
Yeah.
Show me, wise Sherpa.
So I went to second base camp, if you will. And
Well, I don't even know what these are anymore. I feel so ancient. What's second? Is that like...
I've never loved the base system. It's
They don't
always
make any
so
sense.
like we can all agree first base is a kiss, right?
I think so, yeah.
And home base
Is like sex. I was about to say like a euphemism. I'm like, as soon as we got to talking about the bases, I Benjamin Buttoned
Yeah.
like 13 and I was going to be like, doing it?
But second and third base, I don't think there's like
Vague.
a firmly established
I feel,
rule.
there's not. Because some people would say fingering and then head.
Mm-hmm.
And then some people would say like undershirt action and then
Yeah, like
anything involving everything else, like genitals.
yeah, like if I touch a boob, that's more than first base.
I think that is a generally accepted second base. But then
Right.
there was a controversy that where does head go then?
That's what I'm saying. It's like almost you need an extra base in there or something. We need a better delineation. Scrubs has a good joke about that where JD is bragging about, I think he gets to 1.5 base. And they're like, what's that? It's like, or maybe it's 0.5 base.
Okay.
It's like under the shirt, over the bra.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah. So maybe, yeah, if we like add some half bases in there, then
Yeah.
maybe we can establish a better hierarchy.
Okay. Anyway, I was just saying it's safe. If you catch on fire, I know that your face is safe. Maybe
yeah,
I would give
keep-
you a more vigorous hand job then.
Just
Because I'm like, well, I know
'cause
that Ben's face is not
my-
going to catch on fire.
the money maker is protected.
Yeah. So maybe you've got a good thing going.
It's been working for me so far.
Oh, good to know.
But anyway, back to shaving my stomach. In this moment, I was like, I'm not loving the look here. Mm-hmm. Like I said, you can have like the full hairy body, or you can kind of like
Have
maybe-
just the snail trail and a bit of like on the chest.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping
Mm.
for. But like because there's like this weird no man's land in between the two. I'm like, let me try and like, what do you call it? Like clean up the
It's like
snail
Checkpoint
trail.
Charlie or something.
Yeah.
That's how I imagine it now.
The hairs were fighting
Yeah.
on all fronts.
No, there was an awkward standoff.
Yeah, and I wanted to send in some napalm to clear
Yeah,
up.
that's what it sounds like. You're like, I'm coming in to create peace.
That's it. Or not even peace, just decimate the...
The locals.
South.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I basically tried to, like, groom a snail's trail
Also,
into
Decimate
my...
the South would be a great name for a porn tape.
I'm writing all of these down. Yeah, I tried to, like, groom
Hang
a
on.
snail trail into my stomach.
Okay.
So, like...
That sounds like
There
you
was-
tried to, like, carve one in.
Yeah,
Like a tree, like...
a permanent snail trail.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I just took a regular razor, but like I wanted still some hair
Mm-hmm.
down there, but I didn't want just like complete anarchy.
Okay.
So I tried to like shape it
Again,
a little
like
bit.
you said to me earlier when we were like talking about this, what does your partner, like it came up, what does my partner have? And I honestly can't picture it. And then if you say to me, like I've seen you in the pool and you're like, what kind of body hair does Ben have? I can't picture it.
But that's probably because you don't see me that way. I feel like if this is the first
But I also
time...
hopefully see my partner differently to how I see you.
But that's...
Otherwise, I need to reevaluate a lot of things.
But that says to me that he doesn't have like very much body hair.
Does it? Or does it just mean that a lot of women won't really notice?
I mean, it's possible. I feel like...
Because I can't picture yours. I can't picture his.
I feel like if it was out of control, you would notice and you're like, maybe you should see what you can do about this.
Well, no. As I said earlier, I'm not here to yuck someone's yum. So I'm like, if you're happy, I'm happy.
Well, anyway, I got it into my head that like I needed to clean this up. And so, yeah, I just took a regular razor and I don't know, I didn't want to be like baby smooth.
Right, okay.
But I want to at least have like more of a look going on down there. And it looked fine. That part was okay. But when I was with this girl, she's like, did you shave your belly? And I had to begrudgingly admit that I did. And she's like, yeah, you don't have to do that.
And you're like, thank fucking
Yeah.
God.
And in my mind, I'm like, thank fuck she says that because I didn't want to have to go through all this again. But
But
even
then how do you bring that up as the girl?
we were just lying in bed together and she mentioned it.
Okay. Because what if you're like, yeah, and I love it? I would feel like a jerk.
I did. Well, I obviously didn't say that. I just said, yes, I did. And then you talk.
I'd say, is it for me?
Yeah. If she was like, you don't have to do that, and I'm like, no, this is for
I
me.
like it.
It's a
Yeah.
new thing I'm trying, and it turns out it's great. Then maybe she would have been like fine with that. But
okay.
she was basically saying like,
Don't do it on my account.
Right.
Right.
but the worst part was the next like 2-3 weeks as it's growing back. There's like, first of all, it's the itchiest thing in the world. Like, I don't know what it is, because it's not like when I shave my face, it's itchy growing back in. But this was like, like 24 hours a day, you're just like scratching my stomach. But then the other part was it's like really painful. Like I have to, like the only thing I can think of is that the hairs are growing back in. And like normally it's like quite soft belly hair.
Yeah, I'm so confused.
But it was like...
I can't relate to this. This has never happened to me with anything I've shaved.
Well, this is the only time it's happened and I'm never doing it again. Because it was like they were razor sharp, like poking me in the stomach. So it's like this combination of like intense pain and itchiness. That's like the worst two feelings. And you can't, like you can scratch it and
I
it
think
like
I'd rather
is
be in
temporary
pain than
relief.
itchy. Just for like a sort of aside.
Well, I didn't have the choice.
No, but I mean, I definitely wouldn't choose both if
Yeah,
I've got options.
exactly.
That's for sure. Both is off the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one's like, would you rather be itchy or pain? And you're like, actually both. Thanks
Like,
for asking.
Give me the 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thankfully that trend did not have to continue.
Well, because, I unfortunately have had to shave my stomach too. And I can't say I can relate because mine hasn't had that suffering, but mine is not. See, I just don't like the look, and that's why I do it. It's not for my partner because I get a few hairs there, and I'm like,
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like women should have hair there, which is like my own internalized narrative. So if you do, enjoy. But mine are more like pubes with ambition. Like they're like, yeah. So I'm like, you brought this on yourself. Like, you know where you belong, and you've tried. They're the Icarus of my pubic hair.
They've flown too close to the belly button.
Yes, exactly.
Like, get back down there where you belong.
Yeah, I kind of.
Who do you think you are?
Give them 24 hours, and I'm like, you know where you belong.
Yeah,
I give them
you've
an
had your
ultimatum.
fun.
Yeah, I get it. We all like to. It's fun and games, explore the stomach, but I'm like, back down you go.
Well, it's good someone's laying down the law.
Yeah, it doesn't work, and then I'm like, all right, well,
Well, it works temporarily and then...
no, I mean, when I'm talking to them, no offense.
Oh, sure. No, if it was that easy, I
Yeah.
would be groomed much more differently.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, we've had the talk, and you haven't heard me.
Time to bring in drastic measures.
That's right.
Yeah.
Deforestation. Oh, it's one tree, I guess. 2 trees.
Just ripping up the cabbage patch.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Midnight Crisis.